7th. This is the weekend webinar. An amazing market we've had, folks, in the last year, no question. The S&P has gone from 4,100 since the end of last October to early November. That's about 13 months. 4,100 to 6,100, 2,000 points. It's about what? 50%, 48%. Phenomenal move. What about the Nasdaq 100? From 14,200 roughly to 21,000, about almost the same percentage. They've both gone up 45, 50% range. Very strong move. But if you look at going back a little bit further from January to October of 22.3, there's a double bottom where we actually started the big move, and that was down around 10,800. And we've had massive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-wave move type pattern if I'm counting it right. But recently it's a 1, 2, and it's a long 3, 4, 5. So we're coming to the end of this market, but can we get into a blow up stage that really spikes this up and blows out the shorts before it turns down? We see that a lot. The market always goes further than they think it's going to. Some of my best and most brilliant associate friends that are technical analysts all feel the same way. The market's extended, due for a drop, and yet it keeps squeezing. Look at the Nasdaq 100, up like 10 out of 14 days. The S&P 500 up 12 out of 14 days. And a really strong move that held support in that 58 and 50 range and went up to 6,100, about 250 points, another 5% run up just in the last couple of weeks on the S&P. So you can see the long-term chart, channel tops up here. The juxtaposition of this channel, internal channel, and the longer-term channel are coming into around 62, 62.30 range. I don't know if we get there, but I would watch carefully key short-term support, and we'll see where we go. If they can hold 59.96,000, that would be bullish. If we break that, a test of the trend line and rising 50, come down here in the 58, 80, 59.20 range. That would be my first target. Anything below 58, 55, in my opinion, below this area right there would signal a much deeper retrace potential. That's the S&P 500. Nasdaq 100, you can see also near the top of the channel, and it comes down. The first support level key is 21,000, but then below that, 20,485, we break that, we have a much deeper problem. What bothers me the most is that as this runs up, the percentage of stocks is just not participating. Let's take a look at the McClellan oscillator, which consists of advanced declines and up-down volume. It's much narrower, take a look at this. While the market's rallying, McClellan oscillator has come down for 8 days in a row. I'm not kidding. This has gone from plus 140 to minus 62 at the low on Friday. Amazing. 8 days in a row, and the market's been up 10 out of 12. So, definitely narrower participation. That's very, very strong sign of a topping market where money was focused on momentum stocks like your Bitcoin and some of the other groups that we've had featured recently, like the nuclear energy stocks. But, when they collapse at the tail end of every market, the whole market's going to roll over. The only good part about this McClellan oscillator is getting into near oversold. Not quite. It's kind of neutral to negative. If it gets down in this range, minus 150 to 250 in the next few days, or when the market does roll over, this is going to get quickly oversold. And then we get a rally that could be the shorting point, depending on how it looks, of course. Now, I don't want to anticipate the market. I always let the market tell you what to do. Here's the bottom line. The percentage of stocks participating in this rally also, you'll see, only half the stocks are participating. That's it. 52% of stocks are actually above their 40. 48% are below the 40-day moving average. They're not participating. So when only half the stocks are participating and getting weaker, just a couple of weeks ago it was 65%, and now it's 52 and it's getting worse. That's a technical negative indicator as well. What's the VIX doing? This is a fear index, right? There is no fear. We're at 1277 is the lowest level since July. That was a market top as well. See how quickly we got to oversold? Fear? That could very well occur. And we may not be there yet. We could still get down towards, 1011 or less. Historically, back here, we were even, you can see that the 11 range is over the last, 5 years has been a key area of a market that's apathetic, and there is no fear. And that's usually indicative of market tops too. When everybody's excited and bullish, that's when the market usually turns on you. So let's just keep that in mind. Now, I did want to show you what really concerns me beside this. This is underlying technicals. But if you look at other indices that are supposed to be confirming basic Dow theory forecasts, will tell you that the transportation index must confirm the industrials. Now, it's old school. I grant you. But when the Dow's going up 10 out, S&P is going up 10 out of 12 days, and the NDX, 10 out of 14, and this has been down for 6 days in a row and 8 of the last 9. It's not good when the transportation index is going the opposite direction. Now, the IWM is also not confirming, but at least it's not as negative. I showed you this before, but look at the flag. It's actually looking bullish, isn't it? But if it fades quickly and comes down, it can come down to the trend line and test that area or break. I think the key for the IWM now is 228 in that area. But we're a long way from that at 238. So there's room to drop here if the market drops without disturbing the major trend. Not yet anyway. When you look at the overall PEM since the October 23 lows, 1, 2, this is 3 and 4 and 5. And we're at all-time highs to match where we were back in 21. So I'm not saying this has to come down here, but if it doesn't break out and starts to fall, that could be a problem. Things to keep an eye on, folks. All right, we showed you that and the underlying technicals. Now let's take a look at some of the major ETFs and the Nasdaq 100 generals. We'll start off with that. Here's Apple. Now, there's 4 or 5 stocks in this group I want you to watch. All-time highs on Apple, coming through a double top. If we have any kind of extension, I'm looking for 255.58. If it breaks down quickly below this level and then takes out that trend line, the market's in trouble. Apple. Look at Amazon. New all-time high, AMZN. All-time highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the way I count it. Now, can this extend and blow off into the 250 range? You betcha. But it's extended here. I'm carefully watching Apple and Amazon. I'm also watching Netflix. That's the monster. Take a look at this chart. How about that? Netflix has gone from just the August low at 600 to almost 1,000. We're up 80% since August on Netflix alone. This thing reversed, it's going to take the market down. And keep your eyes on Meta, formerly Facebook, of course. Same thing here. New all-time highs. It actually went up 14 more points on Friday alone. Top of this channel, and by projection would be quickly to 6.5, 650, if the market doesn't come down. But these are 4 stocks: Meta, Netflix, Amazon, and Apple that I want you to keep your eye on. And of course, let's throw in one more: Tesla, monster. Who would have thunk it? But this, when it broke through this range, I was pretty sure we're going to test the highs. Now we're not that far. Tesla could fail right here and double top. The all-time high is 414, folks. 414.29. Friday, we hit 394. So we're not that far away from a new all-time high, but we are also near the channel top. A large 1, 2, 3. So we could get a 4th wave pullback and then more. But watch, if we do get a market extension, 410.15 range is going to be key resistance for Tesla. So in addition to Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Meta, I want you to watch Tesla. So that's 5 of the generals that really are going to be key, in my opinion, going forward. Let's look at the rest of them. NVIDIA, boy, this one's really trailing. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't look terrible because it just recently made a new all-time high, but I'm really concerned about this line. This takes out 132, 2.5. I think that completes the topping pattern, and it's over, short term anyway. Now, long term, the growth prospects are still there, but I think this is overbought, overowned, and yes, in strong hands, but it's also probably overowned by the public as well. 100% stop under 131.5, 132. That's where I want you out. Okay. Extension targets could be 158 and 168. I just can't tell you more than that about NVIDIA at this point. Well, that was a look at all the market generals that we follow closely. Now let's look at the major ETFs that we 3 groups, of course, that lead the market: semiconductors. The SMH is no great shakes. It's a triple top there. It hasn't been able to get through it. It's pulled back in a falling wedge and it bounced I would say somewhat weakly, but I think the thing to watch is this pullback low here. It is actually kind of an island reversal. You see it? This should lead higher. And it does, we're going to have a problem at 264. But if it doesn't and it rolls over, we have a bigger problem at 232.33. You break that, the SMH comes down, and semiconductors lead the market lower. Actually, this should look like this. So this is actually a breakdown and a reversal, but I'll put it back there for now. So semiconductors are having a more difficult time, that's for sure. You can see it every day. And NVIDIA, being a leader in that group, is obviously one of the reasons why this looks like that. Financials, stellar. Even though we pulled back last week, and that's another thing to consider. While the market's bouncing or making higher highs, the financials are coming down a bit. Now, it doesn't mean they're breaking down. They're not. But I would be watching 161.5, in particular the gap at 156.5 right there. These are two areas to keep close tabs on right there. And for now, if the market does run higher, this might be as high as 194.5. Another 24 points. Look at that move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, ripe for a drop? Indeed it is. And financials and semiconductors, which are weaker, not to mention biotechs, let's take a look at that. Those are my three favorite groups. This got crushed, snapped back, and now it's a V bottom and right hand extension. So technically, for me, this is a bullish pattern. We cannot let this go below the platform line. Support is 115.75. Below that, we have a problem. Above 127.5, this could be 130.40, 50, and that would be part of a market blow off should it come. But a rollover underneath this level right here could be a 1-2 and then rollover Beethoven. So carefully watching biotechs for clues, obviously semiconductors as well, and we'll watch those financials, which is the strongest of the three groups, no question. What other groups are we watching? Obviously gold. I am not keen on gold at all. I just think this could be a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. And until and if GLD takes out 250 with energy, I'm considering it's a bearish formation. And if they take out the neckline down here, this could start a really ugly pullback in gold. What about silver? It's not too dissimilar. With gold bouncing, barely able to get that on silver. This is the AGQ ETF for silver. You can see that it formed what I consider a bear flag. Came down, broke this channel, and bounced off the big major channel that goes back a year. That's the trend line. Any move on AGQ under 36.5 3/4 should be stopped. It's then vulnerable to 31 or below. Now, I'm not saying it can't go higher. I'm just saying be on the lookout for that. With a move here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down in the double bottom, that's the best it can do. I don't like gold or silver here, period. And I haven't for years, but this is where I liked it for a while when it went into a 5-wave advance, but you can see the deterioration. What about gas? Well, the oil looks terrible, although it may be double bottoming in here. It would be about time, wouldn't it? This damn thing's been ugly for a while. While the KOLD, the natural ETF, bear on the other side, the KOLD, bounces off support and may roll over here. Now, if this does that, if it can hold it, or should I say if it can break out above that, different story, but then you have the double top there. Trend line is there, lateral double, triple bottom area here, below 52, look out below on KOLD, that means oil will be running, especially if oil gets above, for starters, 41.5, and then 42.5. So it's kind of a sloppy pattern, and I'm not interested right now. What about oil? Here's the USO. This is pretty ugly, folks. And with this pattern, a breakdown from this would lead to a much deeper retrace. I can see this area around 66.5 being tested. Below that would be 61. Not pretty. So I'm going to leave those right there. We got a lot of stocks, both long and short, to talk about. I got a whole bunch of new shorts, folks, you're going to be interested in seeing today. We're going to do this quickly. AAOI. Folks, anytime you get a swing that does this well, you got to be happy with it. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have one more wave. Now, again, depending on the market, if the market continues to extend or has a blow-up phase, I suspect this goes to 50. Could be an interesting one, but I'm going to say stop it right now, under 34. Archer and Joby, both these junior aerospace stocks have gone from 3 to 10, tripled, pulled back and bounced. Careful though, I don't like the technicals on a bounce, and usually that means it's going to do a 1-2 and come down in a 3 wave, which could take it back to 5 or 6, particularly if the market rolls over. If it doesn't, and we get a blow up stage in the market, a stock like this could be 12 or 13. While we're on the subject, here's Joby, same chart. Same type of pattern. A blow up gets it into the 10-11 range. 100% stop on the 7.5. Okay, ACA chart. This is a beautiful little biotech that popped, ran, pulled back, spiked, and now flagging. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave is coming, my target's 6. ADMA has been a beautiful rising channel all year. It's now 52 weeks. But after peaking a month ago, it's done this. Now, it's a bullish consolidation above the moving averages, so it's something to watch, but my stop comes in right there, under 18.25 out. Affirmed with a nice pop and then a consolidation. It's a 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 looks like a bull flag developing right in here. I don't know whether this rising flag can extend, but my target's 81 now. AI just took off. We put a swing on it. It broke out on Friday. I really like the look of this. We'll see if there's an extension in that group. If there is, 44 and 49.50 are targets. ALAB been in a rising channel for 4 or 5 months now, from 37 to 120. It's tripled and it doesn't look done. Target 140. ALGS spike coil. This is the base. It broke out here. Pull back. It's the engulfing reversal today, but no downside follow through, and right back up we go. See, the resistance is right here. Next target's 35. APLD 1, 2, 3, and now flagging here. This is Bitcoin related, I believe, crypto related. So looking for 14 and 17 if you get a blow off in that. If Bitcoin goes to 120.25, like I think it might, and again, it depends on the market, of course. But if you get a blow off in the market, I think Bitcoin's going to go with it and be up to 120.25. If it isn't and the market rolls over, Bitcoin could easily be in the mid 80s, if not high 70s again. We'll see. APP, this is specific from Susie. I know she's been watching this one. Take a look at this. 60 to 385, I'm not kidding, in just 4 months. Monster, no question. Overbought, you betcha. 3-day support right now, 368. For me, I stop under that with a trend line at about 358. ARQQ spiked and broke out, wedged and popped, and pulled back again. And it looks to me it's set up for more. Again, this is my stopping point, 17. Targets, high 20s, low 30s, potentially 40 or better if, again, market permits. ASAN, very exciting, explosive day on Friday. We traded it nicely. And then came down and then pulled back up and closed at the high for the day, up 7 points, 44%. Massive breakout coming up to key resistance. Careful. Atomera, we gave you after broke out of this little coil right there. It's gone from 3.5 to 7, doubled. And we get through here, we're looking at 8 and 9. AVPT, I've been showing this all year. It finally, after a really nice 45-degree angle rising pattern, it went vertical. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave's underway. Don't know how far they take this one, but 2021 is my next target. BBAI, as the AI stocks start to emerge, the juniors do. BBAI broke out and is spiking up. Target 1 3/4. BE, major breakaway gap, I believe, on earnings, and then a rising flag holding up very well, targeting 32.3. BLDE comes out of a base pattern, spikes and wedges. This looks good. 5 3/4 targets. BLND is another beautiful rising channel with a target eventually of 9 should this extend. Bristol Myers, my favorite large cap biotech. I should say pharmaceutical firm. Popped and broke out. We pulled back. We put a swing on it. It's gone from the high 40s to the low 60s, and now it's wedging. Next target 65.6. Dutch Brothers, major breakaway gap, wedge, pop, and rising patterns. Very strong, but near the top of the rising channel top, Only if it accelerates can we see mid to high 50s, but be careful with this one, in my opinion. BTDR, not Bitcoin related, BitDeer exploded last week from 12.5 to 22, and it's extended. New all-time highs. Momentum is great, but be careful. BYRN, this is a tick traded swing when it broke out, I believe in September, and then it ran up to the target and pulled back and wedged, then broke out again. Now it's wedging again. My target is 24 and 30. CANG, beautiful rising pattern again, broke out, pulled back, and popped again. Should we get to the double top at 485? My target 635. Capricorn, well, unfortunately, after a monster move and a long coil, it broke down, got right through that prior high, tried to snap back. But if this doesn't get going soon, it's done. CCJ, this is obviously the largest uranium purveyor in the world, at least in the United States anyway. What a chart. Look at this long-term chart. In the last 4.5 years, it's gone from 5 to 62. New all-time highs on Friday. In the cruise line area, CCL, Carnival, just since the August low, around 13.5 has gone to 26.5 and doubled. Extension targets 31. Cognite Software, funny, breaks out of a 7 or 8 month consolidation period. This is a large 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave is underway, which could lead to 9, 10, and maybe even low teens. Sienna, multi-year breakout, and then right at, and probably going to test, in my opinion, high 70s. Great short-term chart. CLS, Celestica, what a chart, what a move. High single digits to 94. It's a 10-fold increase, folks. Don't know where it finishes, but you want to be looking at the last pullback low as your stopping point, 81. Target, 110. CMPO, base, breakaway gap, strong run up, sharp pullback and bounce right back up to the highs. Target, 20. Core, COHR, base, breakout, retest, a large 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth wave, and it's 5 of 5 as well, and it's near a prior high, but could extend. This is a powerful chart. CONL with Coinbase running. We bought this one. It spiked, it wedged, it's breaking out again. Your next target is 90. Court, breaking out of a coil, it appears, with a target now of 70. Powerful chart. CORZ is another. Looking like it might be a $20, $22 stock. Beautiful chart. Credo, base breakout, consolidate, work its way higher, and then spike. Wow, look at this chart. Since the September low of 24, it's gone to 75, tripled, and looks like it could be 90. CRN sees a tech trader swing when it broke out. We put a swing on it. It's beautiful so far. It just doubled. It looks to me like a $10 stock, maybe 11. CRN teases another tech trader swing. Pop, back to fill, broke out and ran, and now it's wedging. Target, 5.5. CRVS breaks out of the base, runs up in a rising channel, pulled back. It's a little disconcerting here. We don't want to see it under these bottoms or the 50-day moving average. So I'm going to say stop this one under about 7 3/4. If it goes, retesting 9 and then maybe 11 or 12 would be possible. Disney recovered phenomenally. Here's your breakout, spike up, and rising flag. You might see a retest of the 123 area. What a recovery from 85. But be careful on that one. It's extended. DRS, one of the aerospace companies I followed closely. What a chart. Finally accelerated, wedged, and Friday popped and broke out yet again. This could be $42. DSP, beautiful rising channel. Continues in one, although it's extended short term and above resistance. DXYZ, a company that owns a big stake in the pre-IPO for SpaceX, and that's the reason why this is doing what it's doing. Exploded, wedged, and popped and broke out. We've day traded a couple of times. Friday was a great day for it. It's possible we're going to see this as high as 100 or better. Amazing stock. ERJ. Well, we put a swing on it, I believe, back here in the mid-20s, and it made it to 40. And then backed off a little bit. There was some support right in this range. This is the South American aerospace company. I Put stop under 36, target 41 and 45. In the oil sector, there aren't too many stocks I like, but ET is one that's very powerful. Broke out of a rising pattern and now pulled back and wedging, looking like 22 and 25 might be extension targets. EXEL, beautiful biotech, long-term base, multi-year. Funny breakout, and it's rising and it's running. New all-time highs, indeed. Well, I wouldn't say all-time, but 25-year highs. Next target, 50. Flex popped out. We put a swing on it. It's worked out very well. It continues to move from the low 20s to the low 40s, targeting now high 40s. Fastly broke out of a base. We put a swing on it recently, formed a wedge and popped big time on Friday, jumping another 10% on 7 million. Love the way this acts. Near-term target 12. Geo exploded on Trump's election because he favors privatization of prison management. That's what they do. And you can see the rising pattern on this one. If it gets through right where it is, it's a $33 stock. GRR tech trader swing broke out. We put a swing on it, then backed off a three-wave corrective, and then went vertical from 371. It made it in a couple of weeks to 767, doubling. And now it backed off. But if it holds in this zone, we might eat $9. Gxai, another of the AI stocks that popped on Friday. This one jumped 121. It jumped 121% on 167 million shares. Incredible volume. You can see the potentiality of this one making a move and testing 4.5, 3/4 is viable. Hood, rising channel, broke out of a base back in February, and over the last 8 or 9 months has gone from mid-teens to low 40s, tripling, and doesn't look done yet. 46.7 target. HSAI spiked out of a base, formed a wedge, blew up. It looks great, but maybe short-term extended. Target is 11 3/4. AMAT is one of those aerospace companies I love that I've never put a swing on, and Lord, don't know why. Here's a breakout. There's a little wedge, and there's a rising channel. It's gone from 48 to 118. INOD, I love the breakaway. I love that wedge. I think the stock goes to 65. IONQ, broke out of a base, ran up, wedged, exploded, rising channel. This could be $55, $60 if things continue well and the market permits it. Jets, I want to show you the ETF for the airline group with oil prices low. United Airlines has gone from 40 to 100, while Jets has gone from 16 to 26. The rest of the group looks strong as well, with Delta, American, as well as most of the airlines, Alaska, etc., all moving like this. KC, Chinese sector, has gone from 2.5 to 9.5 in about 6-7 weeks. What a chart. It could get to 12 on momentum alone. LITE, tech trader swing when it broke out back here in August around low 50s, is nearly doubled to 95. There is some resistance up here. The next target would be about 110.15. Lemonade, break out of a base and it goes vertical. Now consolidating. Next target 60.61. If it doesn't break down under 42, which is your stopping right now. Leonard Superfoods, beautiful chart. And it keeps doing symmetrically what I like in a chart. Pop, falling wedge, pennant, coil, flag, the type of stuff. Target 16.17. Lumen, again, an explosion in July and August was then followed by a coil, a longer coil, finally a breakout, and now a falling wedge. Must hold and stops under 6. Lunar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up and reversing finally. You can see how it might be vulnerable down here if it doesn't hold this level. If it does, 21.2 is your target. NBLY, tech trader swing, pop, broke out, pulled back, and popped again. I don't like this chart. To me, it's just, considering what we're seeing in most stocks, it looks a little weaker to me. I would put a tight stop on it. MP, well, popped and broke out. We put a swing back in, I think, September. It may have been later, but that bottom line is it moved up dramatically from the mid-teens to the low to 24. Look at last week, though. That's concerning. And it's below first support. If it gets below 1885, I would stop it out. MSTX, the ETF for MSTR. I think is dangerous. This looks like a big reversal, and that looks like a bear wedge. Now, if the market takes those Bitcoin stocks and rips them, this could very well go back and double top near 200 or something like that. But a breakdown from here could be dangerous into the mid 60s even. Careful. Little MYO double top breaking out on Friday and Thursday, and then a follow through on Friday. Might see 7.5 and 8.5. NANX tech traded swing broke out a wedge and then ran. I'm looking for 3 3/4 and 5. NBIS tech traded swing exploded. We put a swing on it. It went from 25 to 30, almost 38. It literally went up 50% in a week. Fantastic move. Where does it go? I don't know, 44.5. NCLH, the other cruise ship line besides CCL, I follow closely. Beautiful rising pattern, ascending wedge, targeting 30 and 33. NNE, another one of those nuclear energy stocks, is right on support and wedging. Or we can't let this go much lower than that. If it does go 33, 38, mid 40s, even 50 are not out of the realm of possibilities if the group runs. NanoX exploded Friday. We have a swing on this one. It jumped 204 to 828, 33%, 17.8 million. Interesting how it popped Thursday, pulled back, and then went Friday. Usually a good indication it's going higher. Now my target is going to be 9 and then 11. NTRA, tech traded swing right from March when it popped and flagged in the 80s. It literally has doubled since then. It's now 171, target 195. NVCR popped this week and pulled back. Must hold that level of 25. Gets to 33. We're looking at high 30s and low 40s. Navitas popped and broke out. We put a swing on it. It's run almost every day. It's now up 6 days in a row and 9 out of 11. And that's taking it from 175 to 4 1/4. Extension target is 5. NXL, we put a swing on down here. It's run from about $2 to about 4.5. It was 2 1/4, 4.5. But you can see the rising channel says this could be 7 at some point. OKLO is another of those nuclear energy stocks that had a 1, 2, 3, 4 big fifth wave, now consolidating in a large coil. This, I must add, is trailing the rest of the group, but if it breaks out, it could be powerful short squeeze, targeting then mid 30s, low 40s. ONON tech trader swing. I believe it popped out here in May. I'll have to remember the exact dates, but either way, it's in a great trend. It has been for a year, taking it from mid 20s to 60. Extension target, if it gets through here, mid 60s. PAYO, tech trader swing, broke out and flagged. I put a swing on it. It went from 7 to 11.29, and it's consolidating bullishly here. I think it could get to 12.5, 13. PCT, beautiful V bottom, platform, pullback, spike out, wedge, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still in wave 4. So I've got to take out 15. If it does, 18 and 22 might be targets. PLL pop, we put a swing on it, then ran to target number 1 and backed off. It's backing and filling in here and wedging, but it's got to get going. If it does, 17.5 and 22 might be targets. Palantir, one of the best stocks of the year, along with, well, a few others, but you can see this stock's gone from 21 to 77 just since May, folks. And as recently as Friday, it's broken through the top of the ascending channel. This might fly into the 90 range. POET, tech traded swing. You can see the Y. It pop flag, pop wedge, pop coil, whatever. Targeting 8. PRCH, pop wedge, pop wedge, pop wedge, and pop again. And now this isn't done yet. Looks to me after breaking out across this key level, it's in multi-year high territory, looking for 8 and 9 now. PSTG exploded. We put a swing on it. It's back and fill for a couple of days, but look out because this one looks like powerful enough to make a move towards 70 and 75 at least, I think. Peloton pop wedge broke out with announced a new CEO. It's been beautiful since, targeting 12. QBTS breaks out of a base, breaks through resistance, breaks through a secondary resistance. Does a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't know how far they can take this, but maybe 7. QUBT also similar with a pop platform, pop wedge, and now we get another wave. This might be first mid and then high teens. RDW, beautiful rising pattern. It's got some momentum, targeting 17. Rocket Labs, as Lee knows, this stock's been unbelievable this year. I don't think it's done yet. Looking for 35.37. Very powerful chart. RVLV breaks out of a base, spikes, and is now a rising pattern. We're at resistance. We get through here. This might be a $50 stock. SATL, big move. Last 2 weeks has gone from 1 to 4.5. It's extended. It's at resistance. It might be subject to a back and fill consolidation, but my next target is 5.5 and 7. Serv Robotics popped last 2 days. Key is going to be, can it get through 13? If it does, 14.5 and 17 targets. Sweet Greens, the restaurant chain, made a new high. Not an all-time high, but that would be a target up around 53, 54. Sangamo, pop coil, pop wedge. Coming out of a base with that kind of a pattern. Easy stop under 165.68, but if it goes, 315 and 4.5 are targets. Shopify, fantastic long-term chart. Maybe making a run at this point at 150, 170 with that kind of a pattern. SMCI, massive recovery after getting blasted to 17. It's gone up 30 points in 3 weeks, folks. 17 to 47. Actually tagged 49.86, almost 50. That is resistance. If it gets through there, you're looking at 55 and 65. Amazing recovery. SMCX is the ETF for that, and that's gone from 1680 to, how about this one? 1680 to 101 in 3.5 weeks. I'm not kidding. 1680 on November 15th. December 6th, 111.90. SMR, with the power generators, has broken the angle, but it hasn't broken support. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and put this right there, which means for me, I'm taking this line out, and there's your channel. So I think it's a buy right here with a tight stop under 20. SOFI, another fantastic mover. Should we get above 16.75? Extension targets are 19 and 21. And so you went exploded last week after breaking out of a base and went vertical from 8, nearly doubling to almost 16. So it's extended and may need some consolidation here, but the momentum target is 17.5. SPIR recovering nicely. Got up to resistance there and backed off to retest the breakout point. It's a 1, 2, 3. If this is 4 developing, the fifth wave can take us into the $20 range. Scholar Rock with an explosive pop early October at a breakaway gap on drug news, and then multi-week coil. Broke out again, and now it's flagging, and on Friday broke out yet again. This target is 50 and 60. SRTS has been in a rising channel for about a year. It's taken it from under 2 low to nearly 10. Right, 933 and flagging. Target 10.75 and 12. Talk back up again. Beautiful rising pattern since the August low. Got down to $1.64 and more than doubled to 378. If it gets to 4, it might be a $5, $6 stock. Teladoc coming out of a base with a pop, now falling wedge. My targets are 13 and 15. TGTX, beautiful rising channel, and now in a beautiful little flag wedge type pattern. If it goes 40 and 44, my targets. TKNO, pop and rising channel, extension target is 11, 12. Toast, beautiful long multi-year base, breakaway move, and a pullback. Is that an entry op? It could be. Where's my stop? Well, I don't want it under here. So we can see 33 is the stop. TSLL is the ETF for TSLA, of course. This one could rip into the mid-30s if Tesla goes. TBTX, a long-term rising channel in the beauty, now flagging or wedging for the last 6 weeks. Breakaway move gets me to 23 and 27.8. Inverse head and shoulder, we put a breakaway, we put a swing on the breakout, it ran up to the target and then backed off. But a beautiful reversal. It's taken it from 17.5 to 28 just in a couple of weeks. If it gets through that, you're looking at low 30s. UEC, another uranium stock, at resistance, multi-year, but in a rising channel. If it gets through here, 11 or 12 might be a target. UIS, ugly breakdown Friday. It's no longer on my list. It was a tech trader swing from around 5.5, 3/4, and it made it up to 9. So that was a good trade, but it got crushed on Friday, eliminated. Unified Foods breaks out of inverse head and shoulders, forms a coil, and breaks out. I think it extends to 30. UPST breaks out of a base, forms a wedge, pops and has another wedge. Now I'm looking for high 90s and then 118.20. Powerful chart. Upwork looks similar, breakaway gap, sharp run up, pull back, and now at resistance. Target 19 and 22. Vimeo tech trader swing, popped, pulled back. It's got a beautiful coil, but it broke out Friday, in my opinion. 8 and 9 are targets. VRNA, after popping, it's declining channel, and then again getting up through resistance. Beautiful stair step move. Pop flag, pop flag, pop flag. It does it over and over and over. It doesn't look done. This is more of a coil. My extension target is 48. Vsco, this is Victoria's Secret. Beautiful chart. Breakout occurred here. It keeps running. It's now at the highest level we've seen in this one since 2022. Your next target is going to be high 50s. VST, I think the leader in the power generating group. Boy, it takes this coil out. This is going to rock the 200. I like this one. Wave, pop, falling wedge, flag, wedge, pop, another wedge, and then right back to the highs. Should we get through this one, we might see something like this. I'm moving to the high teens and low to mid 20s. WGS tech trader swing, when it popped here, just keeps going. Right now it's developing a coil, but if it breaks out, we're looking at 98 and 120. WULF is a crypto-related stock that has got a beautiful rising channel and has done much better than some of the others. My target is 10 3/4. Wave, pop coil, pop flag, target to 19. And that's it on the long side. I got some shorts to show you, and we'll finish up today. Check this out. AMAT. Well, folks, massive head and shoulder top. We talked about this one a month ago when it formed that bear wedge. It subsequently broke down. Where's it going now? It looks to me like it's headed for 150 and 135. ATI might be rolling over. It hasn't broken the channel yet, but take a look at this rollover in that rising wedge. So if it should break on the 51, we can see the stock in the high 40s and then low 40s. AVAV breakaway to the downside, broken trend line. I think there's some resistance in your target's 142. If it bounces towards 165.75, short it there for a move eventually down to 115.20. CAMT, a massive top type formation for another semiconductor, which if it breaks here, could be headed to 63 and 55. Crocs, been talking about this for a couple of months. Massive top formation. Broke down with a gap. This is a rising bear flag, in my opinion, with lousy technicals. My targets are at 97, 85, 74. DHI, it's a home builder. Head and shoulder top, breakdown pop, breakdown pop. Now, this is your new declining channel. This might also be. Looking for a move to 150, 140, and then less. HCA breaks down, breaks this trend line. It looks pretty ugly. We'll see if it's able to make a lower low down here about 300. Harrow broke. This is one of my favorite long-term charts. It was a breakaway swing trade to the upside that did great for us, 15 to 55, 7, 58. But a 1, 2, 3, 4 has taken a bear wedge to test support. I got to tell you that if it breaks here, we'll test the gap at around 30, and we fill that gap, we might see 26. Leidos, hard hit down, bear wedge. Tech trader swing short. Target 145 and 135. Lennar, another builder with a head and shoulders and a breakdown, looks very similar to DHI. So looks to me like the builders are in trouble, or at least technically. Target 150, 135. LOGI, could be a top. We broke the trend line. We're forming a bear flag. Anything under 76, and we're looking at 67 and 55. MOH breaks the long-term rising channel. Massive type topping formation, it appears. Friday was an ugly day for it, engulfing reversal. I would look for 270 and 250. NVO, head and shoulder top, breakdown, little bear wedge, another bear flag. It might have a little bit of wiggle room to the upside first, about 115, but a short there might yield 100 and even 88. ONTO, long-term uptrend, rising wedge, breaks down, hardly bounces. You can stop over 184, but targeting 149 and 134. Impinge, one of my old favorites, has finally broken down here, wedge, here, wedge, here. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. So with Friday's drop down, we want to wait for some sort of bounce, but I think we're going to see 153 and then 135. PSN breaks down and forms a bear wedge. No question, it's a setup for a hit down to 85. Qualcomm is a tech traded swing short. It just hasn't worked yet, although it is at the lowest level. It just hasn't broken down is what I mean. Next thing, if it does break down, 136 is my target. STNG, Scorpio Tankers, this is Shiver that broke here from the beautiful bear flag right there. And this collapsed from 74 to 48. I wouldn't be initiating shorts here, but it could go lower, even to the low 40s. Tidewater, head and shoulder type top, breakdown bear flag, rising bear flag. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a big fifth wave down. So long in the tooth to the downside. I wouldn't be aggressively shorting it here, but we'll keep an eye on it. TNK, another shipper that breaks down from a head and shoulder, and that there is not hardly a day of bounce on this stock. So nearing my target of 36 shortly from 61. UFPT, look at that breakdown on Friday. Any bounce up in the high 240s, low 250s, I think would be a shorting up for a move that eventually gets down to 195, maybe lower. UHS, topping formation, bear wedge. It's kind of sloppy in here, isn't it? It filled that gap, bounced, but it could be rolling over. And if it does, I'll look at 175.6 as your target. VRRM is a tech traded swing, head and shoulder top breakdown bear flag. Simple as that. Targets 20, 18, 15. And Lily, something I'm watching. I'm not quite sure it should be shorted just yet, but technicals don't look good on the bounce. That's going to be it for the coverage of my longs and shorts. And an end to the weekend webinar, folks. Please review this carefully. I've done a lot of work on it for you. And it's good for us to be set up properly so that we know what may be ahead. This is HB wishing you a wonderful rest of your weekend. Next week, I think, is critical to the market. I think I've been saying that for a month. But it sure looks to me like the market is in, let's put it this way, a precarious position. Have a great weekend, everybody.